All right, hello everyone. Sorry I've been away for a while. Been working on another project, and I'll be making an announcement soon, I hope. And of course, I'm still busy with the with my tuning tool, with the Flatliner tuning tool, the wrapper for REW. If you want to find out more about it, go to flatlinertuningtool.com or find me on Facebook under Flatliner Tuning, and been replying to all my messages there. So check the website first to see what the tool is all about. It's essentially a wrapper around REW, and the idea was to make it work kind of like a TurboTax, one step after another, so you don't have to deal with REW. It's actually pretty cool, and so far I'm getting good feedback. So check it out. Today I want to talk about virtual channels. Um, a lot of people seem to be a little bit confused about how this work. So that's what I want to cover today. Virtual channels on the Helix DSP. You have three kinds of input. You have your main inputs, which are your either the high level or the RCA inputs. You have your auxiliary inputs or the head card, or you have your digital inputs, which in the Pro Mark III, you have two kinds of digital inputs that you can select later, either coax or optical. So let's talk about the main to virtual routing. These are essentially, you're here configuring your inputs, where are they coming from, okay? And for example, if you have your stereo, you're using the high level inputs, and hopefully you will get a full signal on from your speakers. You can select the front left and the front right, and if you want to sum, for example, you want to sum the rears as well, you can do you can put them here, rear left, and you can put rear right, and this will sum automatically. And if you have a separate, if this is a full signal, you can do the same thing for the subwoofer. So you can do left. Usually for the subwoofer, you sum the left and the right, and here you get the left and the right. So this is how you would configure your subwoofer. Okay, if you're using rears or center channel, you can do the same with those here. If for whatever reason you have the full signal on your front left and front right, then that makes things a little bit easier, simpler. You only need this. And if you're only using one subwoofer, you just do, actually for the subwoofer, you're always summing left and right. If you get one subwoofer, you can do this just left and right, but if for whatever reason you're feeding the two signals to the subwoofer, you got subwoofer 1 and subwoofer 2, let's say you have a front sub and a rear sub, you can do this, but you always sum left and right on your subs. Okay, so how do you configure the output for this? So you tell them, if you have front left and if you have a full signal, this is already set the right way. So it's front left full and front right full. And to avoid confusion, what I do, if there's something that I'm not using, just set it to not assigned, so it's less confusing. Not assigned, not assigned, and not assigned. And this makes a difference. I'm going to show you later how this makes a difference. Okay, like for example, if you go to outputs right now, no, this is not fully configured yet, so my bad. So let's go back to signal management. So to configure the outputs, you have to come here, virtual to output routing. Okay, so let's say you have now, so these virtual inputs that you have here on the left are the ones that you configure here. So I have A, B, and then channel I and J, right? So if you go here to the output, virtual to output routing, you have the AB and the IJ set up to subwoofer 1, subwoofer 2, from left, from right, and this actually we're gonna set right now. So let's assume that you have a three-way active and your full signal is coming from the front left and front right like we mentioned earlier. Okay, this is usually the case. So what you will do here is you put your front left, front right for your tweeters, front left, front right for your mids, and front left, front right for your mid bass. For the subwoofer, you have set up the sub RC type channel here. So when you set up the subwoofer, you're gonna set to sub RC type channel, and what that means is that you're gonna be able to set up this channel to be controlled with the conductor, and that's to control your sub level, and you can configure it only if it's set up as a sub RC. Okay, so you go here, and for your subwoofer, I have two channels. I'm feeding two channels to my sub. Let's say that you have a front and main sub, and these two subwoofers are, if you go back here, they are the same signal, you know, front left and front right. You're summing the front left and the front right for a full signal to the subs, right? So so this is how you would set this up. Now here you have front left, and I want this to be my tweeter, so this is gonna be front left high, channel set the yes. Remember my choice. I'm gonna let it set it up to be safe with my speakers. I don't want to blow them. So what this is gonna do, this is going to set up the high pass and low pass filters automatically that you can change later. Just in case you play music by mistake, you're not gonna blow your speakers. You're not gonna send a full signal. So click yes, and remember, this is gonna be the mid. Front is already set up, front low, right low. So these are the mid bass, they're already set up. I'm not gonna use this, so I'm gonna set it to not assigned. I'm not going to use this, and I'm gonna set it to not assigned, right? So this is how you configure the outputs. So now at this point, you should have a signal, right? And when you configure these outputs, and if you go to the outputs now on the processor, now you're gonna have front left, front right, front left mid, front right mid, front left low, front right low, not assigned, subwoofer 1 and subwoofer 2, just the way that we set it up. And if you look at the tweeters, it already has the filter, the crossover applied to it, right? The mid, it already has something safe already applied, front left low, front right low. So this is safe already applied to the subwoofer. Yep. It's because I set it up that way. You know, when it prompted me to assign crossovers, and I said yes, that's how it was done. Now, let's cover a case that actually happened to me. All right, and this is a little trick that I learned. If for whatever reason you only have a digital input and you're having issues controlling the turn on power for the DSP, because only the high level input and the RCA input triggers the turn on signal on the DSP. Okay, so the way that you need to configure that is you just hook up. Essentially what you're doing is you're hooking up either the high level, in my case I have the high level turned on, hooked up, and every time I turn on my car, the high level signal is sends something. And the funny thing is that my radio doesn't even have to be turned on, but the high level is connected to the high level input, and that triggers the power on my DSP. Okay, because I have an electric car and I don't have the start. It's just an electric car, and you just put it on D and go. There's not really a start signal. So the way that I went around that is by configuring here in the signal management. here what I do is I leave the high level here, even though I'm not gonna use it. You actually can leave it just like this, you know, it just needs a signal to turn on. And I have the HEC USB card, so I can go from my iPhone directly to the processor via USB. And the way that you would do this is you select left and right here, right? And for the subwoofer, we're gonna do the same thing. Left, right, left, right. We always want to sum these signals. So whatever we did here, it matches. And if for whatever reason you have a different digital signal, like I don't know, you have a digital to analog converter, like one of those SMSL PO100 units, you will do that here. So it's the same thing. Right here, left, right, left, right, left, right. So now you have everything configured. So you can play either you can put your digital here. So this, if you put it on main, this will actually play. It will detect the turn on signal from the speaker wires that you hooked up on your high level input, but it would play this source, right? Here I can take this out and I can put this if I wanted to, right? And it'll work. So this is actually the way that I have mine configured. And of course you need the, if you want to play through here and not worry about inputs and outputs, you just do this here. So, and that's it. That's how you configure it. So there is another thing that we need to look at here. You can set it to auto source, and it will automatically pick up the source that you're playing. If I have it connected this way, I mean, this is just gonna work just fine. So I know that this is the main to virtual routing. This is where you should be hooking up your high level or your RCA signal, but you can do it this way. And you can have the signal, the RCA or the high level signal connected just for the turn on signal. That's it, right? So this works beautiful. And now here you select auto source, and here it tells you what is connected. So right now nothing, this is the priority, I'm sorry. So you can set the priority to see which one you want first. So if you have the main input, for example, the digital input and the auxiliary input both playing at the same time, it's going to choose the one that you set the priority first. Okay, if for whatever reason these two are playing and then you stop playing the auxiliary input, it's going to switch over immediately to the digital input. And the main input is disabled because I don't have a real main input signal, so it's never going to kick in, right? And here's where you set the sensitivity for each signal. I just leave it the way it is because as is, it works just fine. Now, the last thing that I wanted to mention before I cut this video is that here on the digital input, you can tell it which input you're gonna use, right? So here, the digital input is going to automatically switch to digital, but you need to tell which digital input you're gonna be using. So if you use coax, just select this one. If you use optical, just select this one, right? So that's pretty much it. That's how you set up your virtual channels. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on the comments, or you know how to find me, flatlinertuning.com, Flatliner Tuning on Facebook, and I am still providing tuning services, remote tuning services. So if you're interested, just you know how to find me, reach out to me and we can set something up. All right. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next one.